if you spend any time at all where you could pick up a tick, and it's pretty much impossible not to on Delmarva, then you know it could cause a lot of trouble.
You have probably heard all the talk about Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. All it takes is just one bite from a deer tick and the trouble can begin.
According to recent numbers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there were just over 24,000 Lyme disease cases nationwide. Virginia and Delaware had nearly identical numbers at 767 cases and 756 cases, respectively. But in Maryland, there were over 900 cases.
Now let's talk about Rocky Mountain spotted fever, or RMSF. The CDC says cases have been recorded since the 20s. There's been a very dramatic increase in the number of cases since 2000, with an all-time high in 2008. The first recorded fatality was in 1940, but fortunately, the fatality rate decreased from 28% in 1940 to less than 1% in 2001. But Lyme disease and RMSF are not all you have to worry about. A tick bite can lead to other major changes in your life.
It's just a rough draft in recipes that I've developed.
A lifelong chef, September Norman always dreamed of publishing a cookbook.
I can't use regular butter.
But sitting in her home, she'll tell you these were never the recipes she intended to write.
It's actually called The Unintentional Diet.
Working in the woods behind her house last summer, this 55-year-old wasn't fazed by the small tick she found on her foot.
You know, my husband took it off with a pair of tweezers, didn't think anything else about it.
Until weeks later, when she woke up in the middle of the night, swollen with hives and unable to breathe.
They said I was probably about 20 to 30 minutes from dying at that point. So it was very scary. One tick.
Eventually, doctors figured out September had developed a severe food allergy. That Lone Star tick bite left her completely unable to eat red meat.
This is to the point that, you know, if I didn't make those changes, I'd die.
This condition really has only been described over the last couple of years.
Dr. Robert Valet treated September and dozens of other patients with the same alphalgal allergy.
You know, we think that this condition may be lifelong after it begins. Certainly, prevention is the best medicine.
With so many Lone Star ticks around, on deer and on brush, he says it's an emerging new allergy.
It does get to be very limiting. It's very frustrating for the patients and for us.
Rice milk, I would not have had that.
For folks like September, it means a completely new way of life, all because of one tick.
Things happen for a reason, and you just keep moving forward.
There is no cure for this rare allergy. However, doctors say not every person who gets bit by a Lone Star tick will develop this problem.
Now, there is some good news when it comes to tick bites. The transference of any pathogens from the tick to you happens only after being attached for about 24 hours. So, you've got a tick attached to you. Now what do you do? Well, according to tickencounter.org, use only pointy tweezers to grasp the tick as close to the head as possible. If you use blunt tweezers, that increases the chance of squeezing the germs out of the tick and into you. Pull upwards with a slow, steady motion until it releases. And then if you have something to put that tick into, like a jar or a plastic bottle, you're going to have it to show the doctor later on, just in case you start showing signs or symptoms that maybe you're sick.
I do not like ticks at all. Well, another pesky pest you need to worry about, fleas. They can cause major issues for not only you, but your pets too. And once they set up shop in your home, getting rid of them takes time. Brian Spiros went to Seaford Animal Hospital in Sussex County to find out how to get rid of them, prevent them, and the signs your dog or cat has them.
If there's one thing you don't want in your home, it's this right here, a flea. They come in large numbers and can be the ultimate nuisance for you and your pets.
Fleas cause a lot of discomfort. They've been around for eons. It can cause anything from just like a mild itch to severe flea allergy, dermatitis, and skin infection.
Dr. William Wade is a veterinarian and owner of Seaford Animal Hospital. He says fleas can strike at any time.
We see them pretty much year-round. We had 2 cats in yesterday. After the snowstorm that had fleas on them. We had a pet in, like it was 10 degrees in February, had fleas. The peak's usually like October, November, and December.
So how do fleas get in your home in the first place?
There's a lot of ways they can get them. If they're outside at all or going in and out, they're carried by wildlife, like the stray cats in the yard, raccoons. Possums are the number one carrier of them. If you're out and about, they can hitchhike in on your clothing and come in the house that way.
And once they're in, it's already too late.
Fleas like to stay on the host, so the flea's going to take a bite out of you, and then it's going to lay eggs, and those eggs are it can lay like 50 eggs a day. They're going to fall off in your carpet. Probably half of those are going to hatch out, and when your pet comes around, they're going to jump on the pet. And that one flea in 2 or 3 months can turn into thousands of fleas.
And many dogs will make it known that there's a problem.
All right, Dr. Wade, so when it comes to our dogs or our cats, there are some signs people should be looking for that may indicate they have a flea problem. What should they be looking for?
In the dog, the flea's going to attack mainly their back. It's like a triangle shape, kind of from the middle of their back. It widens out over their rump, up inside their back legs. You might just see them itching and scratching in that area. Sometimes there'll be some hair loss. Other times you'll find like little scabs or red bumps.
Dr. Wade says when this happens, you need to treat the problem. Oral medication can be used for dogs. A topical treatment is also available for cats and dogs as well.
So as we just talked about, there are different ways to prevent and treat fleas. And if you're going to use a topical, the key is putting it on the correct way. Right. How would you do it on a cat?
On the cat, we don't want to use it on the back end at all because they're going to turn around and lick most of it off. You want to start at the shoulder blade. You want to part the hair and actually see skin. Put a few drops here, and then depending on the cat size, like 2 to 3 places between the shoulder blades and the top of the head.
So all the way up to the top of the head. And then what about on a dog?
On the dog, you can go back further, like in the middle of the back. Again, the key is you want to part the hair, see skin, put it right on the skin. And 3 to 4 places between here and here on the dog.
But because of the life cycle of a flea, Dr. Wade explains this will only kill the adult fleas, which are 5% of the problem. It won't kill the eggs, larvae, and pupa, which eventually lead to the adult stage. Because of this, Dr. Wade explains it could take 6 to 8 weeks to eradicate the fleas altogether.
We're going to have you vacuum the house like every day for several days, kind of identify the areas that the pet spends most of its time and concentrate on those areas. Fleas don't like open areas with light. It's like the middle of the living room floor. You don't need to worry about that too much.
Of course, there is a way to avoid all this hassle. Dr. Wade says you need to take preventative measures year-round, either with a tablet for dogs or an injectable for cats.
Year-round control is key. If you wait till August, September when you see them, they've already been reproducing in your house for 3 or 4 months, and you're going to have a major problem.
A problem no pet or human wants to see coming.
Now, Dr. Wade says some people worry about the toxicity of flea products. He says they're designed specifically to go after the flea and will not harm your animal. However, he adds there are some products that are just for dogs that can be harmful to cats. So the best advice, before you give your cat or dog any flea medication, consult with your vet first.
Stuff we need to know.
Yeah.
Still makes you kind of itchy talking
I
about
know.
it, doesn't it?
Our studio audience was sitting there.
Oh my. Okay, so we've learned about taking care of our pets. Maybe you're looking for a pet to call your own. You know, there are cats and dogs all over Delmarva that would absolutely love to be a part of your family. So a little later on, we're going to meet a few of these cute faces and find out how you can help them.
But next, you'll want to help your family too, should something happen to you. It's not something we like to think about, but the truth is you never know what tomorrow holds. Find out why you're never too young to get started with estate planning.
But first, we've touched on your health. Dr. Oz says something that can have a major impact on how you look and feel is your belly fat.
Stress can produce steroids that can cause unhealthy belly fat. Fat cells in the omentum, the folded layer of tissue that surrounds your abdominal organs, behave differently from fat cells under your skin. They release toxic chemicals that can increase your risk of heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers, and premature death. You need to monitor your belly fat by measuring your waist size. Here's how you do it. Take off your clothes and stand in front of a mirror. Don't judge. You're on a fact-finding mission. Let's be adults about this. With a soft measuring tape, wrap it around your waist, keeping the bottom of the tape parallel to the floor. Relax, and without pulling the tape so tightly that it presses into the skin, take the measurement. It should not be more than half your height. That's the ultimate goal. When you're there, you've made it.